we will discuss 4 key electric services traded in wholesale markets. Capacity is generation that is committed to participate in ISO markets throughout the year. Capacity services are offered by power plants that have the capability to provide power if requested every hour out of the year, except when they are offline for maintenance. In return, the power plants receive a capacity payment. To offer capacity services, the available capacity of the power plant must be certified by the ISO. Capacity is measured in megawatt days and is typically priced in units such as dollars per kilowatt per month, dollars per kilowatt year, or dollars per megawatt day. Capacity ensures that the ISO has enough generation available to provide supply to balance demand for all hours of the year. Energy is actual electricity that is put onto the grid by suppliers or consumed by users. In wholesale markets, it is sold by power plants, wholesale power marketers, and load-serving entities that find themselves in a long situation. It is measured in megawatt hours and is priced in dollars per megawatt hour. Energy is used by load-serving entities to supply their end-use customers. Ancillary services are services in addition to energy that must be available to system operators to keep the grid functioning reliably. They are sold by power plants and occasionally by flexible loads. They are measured in megawatts and are priced in dollars per megawatt. Ancillary services are used by the ISO to keep the system in balance during minute-by-minute system operations, as well as to maintain proper voltage and to restore the system after outages. For our discussion of ancillary services, we will focus on those services used to keep supply and demand balanced. To keep the system in balance, the ISO buys services that allow it to adjust the output of power plants. These services are called operating reserves services. If loads get too high relative to supply, the ISO ramps up reserve units, meaning it instructs the units to increase output. Alternately, if loads fall and supply is too high, the ISO ramps reserve units down to reduce supply. There are 3 categories of operating reserve services. Regulating reserve is provided by units that are under direct control by the ISO. These units provide the ISO the capability of ramping units up or down as often as needed every few seconds. Spinning reserve is provided by units willing to ramp up or down within 10 minutes upon request by the ISO. To provide spinning reserve, units must already be online and providing electricity to the grid. Lastly, supplemental reserve is provided by units that may be offline but are willing to start and then ramp up within 10 minutes upon request by the ISO. Regulating reserve is the most valuable of the operating reserves because it is under direct control by the ISO and it ramps within seconds. The last service we will consider is called Financial Transmission Rights, or FTRs. FTRs allow participants to fix the cost of using a transmission path. But that may not make sense to you until we explain it a bit, which we'll do in a minute. FTRs are sold initially by the ISO, but may be resold by other wholesale market participants such as marketers and utilities. FTRs are measured in megawatts and are sold in dollars per megawatt and are unique to a specific transmission path.